largest all-sports radio station presents the number one motorsports show for over 2 decades, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the racing boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Good morning, race fans. Welcome to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. We got a great show lined up for you today. Bobby Pierce ended up winning last night, didn't he, Kurt?
He did, and we interviewed him before.
Right.
He went to Knoxville, so we have that interview from our Mostly Motorsports show from earlier in the week. We were going to play here in just a little bit.
And we've also got Xavier Doney, Jake Buback, and Chase Rodman joining us today on the show.
And with next week, NASCAR out at Kansas Speedway, the president of Kansas Speedway, Pat Warren, will be joining us live just a little bit later on this hour. So,
right.
Looking forward to next week. You know, I'm happy we're going to get the rain out of the way here today, right? So it's beautiful next week.
It's always good to talk to Pat Warren, isn't it?
Yeah. He's probably thinking as I am.
Yeah, he's thinking the same thing.
We're getting the rain out today, so we got a beautiful weekend next weekend.
That's right. No rain, all race.
Yeah.
We got. This is a different normal weekend because we got three full days of racing out there. You know, it's normally just a Saturday Sunday deal. We got Friday, Saturday, Sunday this week.
We got 4 races.
Right. 4 races.
We got on Friday. We've got the ARCA race at in the late afternoon. 7 o'clock at night, the NASCAR Camp Craftsman Truck Series race. And then Saturday will be the Xfinity race. And Sunday, the NASCAR Cup Series race. We have 4 races. Next weekend, 3 full days of activity out here. So we'll have it all covered for you.
And to be honest with you, nobody is going to cover Kansas Speedway like the Racing Boys are going to cover it.
Anywhere in Kansas City, we're at the top of the heap here.
So, what is the plans next week? Is the plans for me to be in the studio?
Me and you.
Yeah, I'm going to be out at the Speedway during this show next week.
Right.
So I'll be checking in from out there. We'll produce our show from the Racing Boys World Headquarters here.
Do we need a new camera?
He's going to zoom in. So we'll
zoom in.
We'll just zoom him in, and
we got a bunch of complaints about my camera.
Your camera last week down at Wheatland?
Yeah, we did.
They didn't like the fuzzy camera on your computer.
Right.
We're going to get Scott a new computer and
or a new camera. At
least.
That's
what I'm saying. We'll just get we'll hook up your tablet and then hook up one of these little external cameras, and then you should have no problem.
You know, if the camera's bad on your computer, I've got the same computer as you do. It must be bad on mine too. So.
One week your connection was really good, though, Scott. So sometimes it's also has to do with the Zoom, But I agree, last week was a little shaky.
Right.
We need to get you some better lighting, maybe. That might be it. Hey,
you had all the lights on in the camper, didn't you?
I'm thinking he needs one of those.
No, I didn't have all the lights on.
You need one of those circle lights that goes in front of you.
I've got one.
That's what you needed to fire up.
Hey, just as we predicted.
It blew out the camera.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
Right.
Just as we predicted on last week's show, with the track at the Jesse Hockett Daniel McMillan Memorial, too slick and too rubbery on Thursday. It went the other way on Friday. We said it's probably going to be perfect for Saturday night, and it was. That was a heck of a show last Saturday night down at Lucas Oil Speedway. Don't you agree?
I thought it was a perfect track on Saturday night. Didn't you?
It was. And Xavier Doney winning his first major big-time race in the non-wing feature. That was an eventful race. And Jake Buback, who we had on live last Saturday, won his first Saturday night feature in the winged 410 sprint cars.
Right.
On Saturday night. So congratulations to those two guys. We'll be hearing from those two, as you pointed out, in hour 2 coming up. Scott, we got some sad news here this morning.
We do. It's kind of painful because we worked with Mark Morrell for a long time, didn't we, Kurt?
Yeah, you know what? I was a co-host on a radio show with Mark back in 98, 99, before I came over to be with you.
Right.
We co-hosted a show on another radio station, and Mark was there. You couldn't meet a nicer guy. He just a great guy. And I know he's been around racing. He's a real passionate race fan more than anything else.
And he always promoted the Racing Boys, didn't he?
He did. He was a great guy. He spent some time on the PA up at I-35 Speedway for a number of years, and everybody who came in contact with Mark just loved the guy. And sadly, after a long fight with cancer, we lost Mark Morrell yesterday. So our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. This is a tough one. Boy, this has been a tough year, Scott.
It is. It's been a really tough year.
Been a tough year, and
losing
Mark,
Lloyd,
yeah,
losing a lot of people.
We
really.
had Mark on the show here.
Yeah, I was going to say we didn't have Mark
a few
on
weeks back.
Yep.
Yeah,
I know that Mark. He not only promoted the Racing Boys, he promoted everything that was racing,
Right.
all the way up until his last post. Last week before he got turned. Really, look, guys, this guy. I didn't know him other than my association with the Racing Boys, but this guy became a friend with me, promoted my photography page, always told people to go look at my, always, you would get your notices on Facebook. You'd wake up one day and there'd be 30 notices that Mark Morrell had liked 30 of your photos, because
Right.
he not only would look at like the photo that you posted, but he'd go through every album and click like on all your photos to let you know, he's actually looking at every one of your photos. So he was such a nice guy. We know that he'd been battling this for a long time, so I'm glad he's not having to deal with this anymore. That's just a sad situation. But the racing community definitely lost somebody big here in Kansas City, because I don't think a lot
major voice in motorsports.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people really realize how far out he actually reached. So it's
Right.
sad loss. Like I said.
yeah. He was on social media a lot and just connected with people.
I
just
don't.
a great guy.
I don't know if you know this, Kirk, but in Mark's early years, he worked with Tom Wilson and I. Did you know that?
I'm not sure I knew that.
He
So
did.
that would have been before I worked with him then,
Right.
and we didn't even know each other at that time.
Right.
So yeah, Mark is just one of the great ones, and sadly we've lost him. He spent some time with MRN Radio. I know he worked with MRN for a time.
He
did
did.
some work with with other national outlets, and everybody loved having him around. And he is going to be missed.
He did the I-35 post-race report. We're watching a little video of it right now.
He was on the PA up there for a couple of
yeah.
years. Yeah,
And so they do these post-race. This is a couple of years ago, and I always liked listening to him. Like I said, Mark was such a positive individual. That was,
He was always upbeat. Wasn't
yeah.
he's one of the more likable people that you'd ever come in contact with.
he? Right.
Just
So we're
everybody
thinking
loved him.
about his wife and the family and everybody, because it's sad situation. But like you said, I know that it's been a really long, hard. He'd been dealing with this for a long time. A lot of his posts were coming from his hospital bed.
And
so
typically he was doing his speeches or his commentary
Right from the
out
bed.
of his bed.
yeah, right out of the bed there.
Right out of
and
his
he
bed.
was in hospice there
Right.
for a long time, and we knew he was in hospice, but he'd been still doing so well for so long, and so
we thought he was going to survive.
yeah, and we all know how that kind of works. Sometimes you kind of make the curve and feel like things are kind of going your way, but it just so like you said, big loss. We're really
He
thinking
had a
about the
great
family.
spirit to the end.
He sure did.
Just
He did.
Never gave up.
He-
had
he
a smile
post-
on his face.
He was
all the
posting
time.
September 7th, guys. He was still posting racing comments all the way up until
Right.
and commentary and promoting up until the 7th of September. So I mean, it's sad, but he was doing what he really loved to do, and I'm glad that I got to say that. I knew him, and it's just hard for the family. I know it is today.
Yeah, no doubt.
Late model Knoxville Nationals going on. We've got 2 nights in. Today, we're looking at Mother Nature, and hopefully we get the Saturday night portion in. They only have to run 2 races for the late models tonight. The B main and 24 cars are already locked and loaded for the A main tonight, 75 lap feature. But Mother Nature, doesn't look like she's going to cooperate.
Man, it's coming down.
If we don't get this thing in
it's
today.
raining hard out there right now, isn't it?
I sent you out there to look. That was buckets out there, wasn't it?
It's
It
not
was.
raining in Knoxville right now, though. So, but it's supposed to pick up around 6 or 7 o'clock tonight. The rain chances go up, so that means that Lucas Oil and Knoxville Raceway officials had to make a decision to move up the schedule today. So the grandstand gate, first of all, the pit gates will open at 1 at Knoxville, grandstand at 3, and hot laps will start at 4. So if you're planning on going to Knoxville, you better go early because racing is scheduled to start at 5. And I wouldn't hold out the possibility that if the
It could
weather
get
changes,
rained
they
out.
might move it up even more. So I would keep
Hold on.
tabs with the social media.
Hold on, Kirk. What did you say the percentage of chances of rain up there is tonight?
Well, it's moved up to 50% after 7 o'clock tonight up there. So, but it's cloudy, but the rain percentages are down in the teens, single digits in the teens up till 6 or 7 o'clock tonight. Then they pick up the chances. Why they moved it up. But you know as well as I do, weather can change. So I would monitor the Facebook, the Knoxville Raceway Facebook page, Lucas Oil Late Model Series pages for the possibility that you might see it moved up even more if things change as far as the weather. But right now, hot laps at 4 o'clock, first race at 5 o'clock. They're going to run the Malvern Bank Late Model Series as part of the program as well. But the two big races they want to get in are the $50,000 to win 75 lapper and, of course, that B-Main. Bobby Pierce and Jonathan Davenport on the front row tonight's feature event. And one other note at Knoxville. The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum will hold an auction today at 11:30 on the second floor of the Hall of Fame. And they've got a lot of items that are going to be at the Hall of Fame. The proceeds not only go to the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, but the Dirt Late Model Hall of Fame in Florence, Kentucky. And they've got items like door panels, die-cast framed photos, lighted and neon signs, much more. The auction includes signed items from many drivers and more. 11:30 is the time, second floor of the museum. And, of course, while you're there, check out the Eldora Speedway Salute and the Sprint Car. They're going to be given away 2 days before Christmas this year. The race-ready XXX chassis with an Al Parker Racing engine. You can sign up for that. And check out the Hall of Fame gift store while you're up there as well.
Hey, Kirk, Bobby Pierce, Jonathan Davenport, Devin Moran, Tim McCready, Hudson O'Neill. And listen, you got to give a shout-out to Max Blair last night because he took the lead last night, didn't he?
Yeah, it surprised Bobby Pierce. Did you hear Bobby's post-race interview?
Right.
When he jumped out of the car, he immediately went over and talked to his dad, Bob. And Ben Shelton asked him, what were you guys talking about? And he said, we were talking about signals, and I thought they were motioning me to go high instead of staying low. And so I went high, and that's how Max Blair got past him.
I think he got confused with the signal guy.
He got confused with the signals.
Right.
And so that's why he went high, allowed Max Blair to get by him. And he said it was just lucky that he was able to get back by Max Blair for the lead because the track had rubbered down just a little bit.
Max Blair said that he went into the corner a little too soft, and he went through the rubber.
Yeah.
And that's what gave Bobby Pierce the lead again.
And Bobby thought he was lucky to get the lead back.
Right.
The way it turned out. So Bobby Pierce comes up with the feature victory last night after finishing second on Thursday night. Brandon Shepard, I thought maybe had the fastest car of the race. He came from ninth and was second. And I thought maybe he might have had something there for Bobby Pierce there at the end. Blair ended up third, Devin Moran fourth, and Dalton Wilson fifth. So the way it lines up tonight, Bobby Pierce and Jonathan Davenport on the front row. Devin Moran, Tim McCready on row 2, and Hudson O'Neal, Max Blair on row 3. You look at some of these guys, the only driver that's won this event, well, there's 2 drivers that's won this event in the past.
Mike Marlar.
In the top 10 that are in the top 10 lineup are Jonathan Davenport, who won this event 2 years ago, and Tim McCready, who won this event in 2008. Everybody else in the top 10 have not won this race before, which started in 2004. Mikey Marlar, you brought up his name. He's got to come from 18th starting spot tonight. He's a 3-time winner of this event, so he's got work to do.
Don't count him out,
back up there.
Kurt. Don't
he
count
runs
him
well
out.
at Knoxville.
Right.
He always ran. He's won heat races the first 2 nights, but they do inverts on the heat races. He didn't qualify all that well, but he was starting up front of these heat races, which he won both on Thursday and Friday night, but his points are putting him back in 18th starting spot. It's going to, anything can happen, a 75-lap race. You can come from 18th starting spot
Right.
if you get it dialed in.
No doubt.
So I wouldn't count Mike Marlar out.
I wouldn't count him out either.
He is the only 3-time winner of the late model Knoxville Nationals. So we look forward to getting up there tonight and keep our fingers crossed that we get it all in.
Are you going to go up there tonight, Kurt?
Plan it on it. Yeah. I'll monitor the weather and see how it goes. We'll just see where it goes.
We'll just have to see how it goes out at Flying H.
Flying H drag strip, big pro mod event going on this weekend. And I'm not sure if this thing is completed or not. They were looking at the weather out there as well. Forecast not looking good for Odessa either. And this is a big event. They're going to pay $150,000 to win this event. So some of the best pro mod drivers in the country are out at Flying H drag strip this weekend. They've gotten 2 days of qualifying in. They've got some other divisions out there as well. They even got some funny cars out there. They got
a jet truck out there as well.
They do as well.
Yeah.
So
I'd keep an eye on their social media page to figure out
I haven't seen any updates from you, Todd.
No, I looked again this morning. I know the one video is 10 hours on Flow, the replay. So if you want to go back and watch kind of what happened over the first couple days.
Flow's carrying all the videos.
Yeah, they've got the whole thing. I would pay attention to Flying H Facebook page or their website and see where they're going to be sitting at today. We know we're getting a ton of rain out here, so but it doesn't take much to dry off a drag strip. So if it stops raining, but we don't know how much they finished yesterday, so that's a thing. So just keep an eye out, and they'll give you the update, I'm sure, today.
Yeah. 4 Crown Nationals going on at Eldora Speedway. Pretty good show last night, Scott.
Right.
The midget race, Dazen Persley picks up the win. He made a move off a restart to get past Cannon McIntosh and was able to soldier on to another victory. He's the points leader in the USAC midgets. That's a prelim race. All 4 of the main races in the 4 Crown are tonight. The only other feature they ran last night was the high limit 410 racing, and a big night for Justin Peck.
Kurt, was that an exceptional midget race at Eldora?
Yeah, it was exciting.
It was
You put
exciting.
midgets on a big half mile like Eldora Speedway, it gets pretty wild.
Right. A lot of lead changes going on
Yeah.
during that event.
Pretty crazy. Pretty good 410 wing sprint car race, too.
Right, yeah.
Justin Peck picks up his first win in, 13 months in the high limit racing? He got upside down at Lernerville last weekend, and then he comes back and gets a big win, holds off Rico Abreu there at the end. Did you think Rico might get past him there at the end?
No, I didn't think I don't think that Rico had a chance to get by Justin Peck.
Made it close there, though.
Yeah. Kind of made it close there at the end.
Yeah.
Right?
So tonight, you got 4 big races. You got the Silver Crown cars, which Dazen Persley will be sitting on the pole of that race. You got the non-wing sprint cars. Logan Seavey is leading the points in that division. And by the way, he's going for another sweep in the USAC portion of the 4 Crown. He did it last year. And then they've got the midget feature and the high limit main event tonight at Eldora Speedway.
All right. Thanks, folks, for tuning in to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. When we come back, Bobby Pierce is going to be joining us next right here on Track Talk.
Track Talk.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products since 1989.
3 minutes, gentlemen.
For your products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisement. Past results afford no guarantee of future results, and every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
I got hurt in a car wreck. Do Mike and his team really get all those clients all that money?
You bet we do. We got a client of ours suffered a bad head injury, and we got them $300,000.
That's what I'm talking about. Mike's definitely got this.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this. All you need to know, 816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
2 minutes.
Icon is seeking healthy, non-smoking
10-4.
men and women ages 18 to 55 to participate in a clinical research study at our facility in Lenexa, Kansas. Volunteers must be available for one stay of 6 nights and one follow-up phone call. Qualified participants may receive compensation up to $4,400 for time and travel. Call Icon today at 913-210-5900. That's 913-210-5900.
Big news, Kansas City. Joslin's Jewelry has just been named Best of Kansas City by Ingram's Magazine and awarded the prestigious gold medal. For over 47 years, Joslin's has been your go-to for exquisite jewelry and exceptional service. All of us here at WHB are proud to be partners with Joslin's and would like to recognize this great achievement. Visit Joslin's Jewelry, where every piece tells a story. Joslin's Jewelry is at the corner of 95th and Antioch in Overland Park. Joslin's Jewelry, the gold standard in fine jewelry.
Joslin's Jewelry for the best that's yet to come.
The big screen is still the best way to enjoy the magic of the movies. At B&B Theaters, we've got the best big screens to enjoy the movies. B&B is family-owned and operated and has been bringing Hollywood to your hometown since 1924. They're headquartered out of the Kansas City Northland. Visit B&B this month for great movies like Beetlejuice, Speak No Evil, Red Room's The Greatest of All Time, and more. Visit bbtheaters.com to join our Backstage Pass loyalty program, which is totally free to join. B&B Theaters, the way movies are meant to be seen.
Hey Kansas City, Joe Spiker, Easton Roofing here. I know that picking a roofing company can be a daunting task. Here at Easton Roofing, we treat homeowners like family and look forward to winning your trust. We abide by the adage of doing the right thing, especially when nobody is looking. From the moment you reach out and book an appointment to the day we finish your project, we're here with you. Check that roofing project off of your list. Pick up the phone and give us a call, 913-257-5426. Easton Roofing. Integrity matters.
Welcome back. It's Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Don't forget, hour number 2, you can watch it exclusively on our Facebook page, YouTube page, and racingboys.com as well.
Hottest dirt late model driver in the world is Bobby Pierce. Last night he won his 33rd feature race of the season. That's coming off the biggest win of the year, the World 100 at Eldora Speedway. We spoke with Bobby Pierce on Monday's Mostly Motorsport show. Let's listen to it.
Bobby, congratulations on the World 100, bud.
Hey, yeah, thank you for having me on here. And, yeah, that was an awesome race. Of course, it's one of our biggest races, basically. And to win it in pretty dramatic fashion there towards the end of the race and everything. It was a great race, and just very grateful to have won that thing again.
It's your second time to win that race. Talk about winning it the first time and then winning it the second time. What's that mean to you?
Yeah, well, the first time, I was 19 years old, and this was back in 2016, and that was back when I was still racing in the Pierce car, my family ride. And, my dad, he tried to win that race forever. and came close many times, and it was awesome to be able to win that for him that first time, and everyone, my whole family and everything. And then it took a while to win the second one. Of course, obviously it took a pretty good while, and I really didn't know if I'd ever be in the opportunity to win one again. Eldora is just one of those racetracks where it's so tough to you got to have a really good car, and you've got to have some luck along the way to get yourself in that position to be leading that race, and to be there at the end of 100 laps is really tough there. It's probably one of the tougher 100 lap races. So it was sweet. We had a good starting position, was third, and we got the lead at one point in the race early on. Then we lost the lead to Jonathan Davenport about around halfway. And normally when you lose the lead to Davenport there at Eldora, it's about, lights out, it's game over.
Right.
And I eventually caught back up to him somewhat through some lap traffic, and I think he was getting worse during that part of the race, and I found a line on the top that was pretty good right along the wall there, but it's tough. A lot of focus to turn the wall like that for that many laps, and eventually passed him back, and a restart came out with 32 to go, which was nerve-wracking because that's my number, 32.
Right.
And we got the lead again on the restart, and then with 10 to go, Dale McDowell came out of nowhere and passed me, and I passed him back with 5 to go and barely held on to the win, so it was pretty cool.
Hey, Bobby, congratulations on the win. And I'm going to ask you a question that nobody asked you in the press conference or after the race that I could tell. But after you grabbed the lead with lap 35, whatever,
you got into it with the 18
Dalton
car.
Wilson, right on your nose. How close a call was that?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty sketchy. The damage to the fender actually, in my opinion, it looked worse than what I felt like it was, because a lot of times you'll have that where you're passing someone on the top or lapping someone, whatever, and they swing out because they don't really know you're there.
Right.
You get pinched up along the wall, and normally it doesn't. I don't know, but I guess it was a pretty good hit, and it didn't really affect anything to the actual handling of the car, I don't think, which was good. But yeah, after that, the hood was kind of flopping on that left side, had me a little worried for my aerodynamics. That place is probably the biggest, as far as aerodynamics goes, Eldora is probably one of the biggest places that it matters. And, Knoxville coming up this weekend, those are two of the places that matter the most for aero. So, yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking after that.
Let me ask you, you got into the wall a little bit with your right rear quarter panel there towards the end of the race. Talk about that a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. With 2 to go, with 2 to go, I got the wall pretty hard getting into 1 when I had the lead, and I kind of had a pretty good distance over McDowell at that point, but it was starting to rubber up in turns 3 and 4 on the bottom, and then it wasn't in 1 and 2. So I think going through the rubber in 3 and 4, and then you get to turns 1, your tires had just that different. It just ran through the rubber, then you're going through the slick, so it makes you looser. And yeah, I hit the wall, and that actually almost ruined the race for me because it broke a quarter panel bar back there on the right side that holds the spring steel straps on it, the body bracing.
Right.
And it broke that, which is tubing, and that tubing got into the tire. And I don't know if I would have made it much farther because it was cutting into the tire, and it had a whole section of the tread that was ground down pretty far, almost to the cords of the tire. So I might not have made it two more laps.
Listen, let me ask you about your tire wear. How was it? When it rubbered up, did it take all the tire off?
Yeah, normally it does, but it didn't rubber up until the very end, and I probably ran through it for about 6 laps just in that one corner, so wasn't really much. I think typically there after 100 laps, something about that dirt, it's not super gritty, so you normally have pretty good tire wear. Your tires have lots of tread on it throughout the end of the race, but you can still overheat your tires, and and then once they're overheated, they're just not as good and stuff like that, and knock the edges off, and the sipes start blowing out. But that's why I say sometimes you got to wait and be patient until you really use up your stuff, because you can't go as hard as you want to go on the cushion until there's really like 20 laps to go or so.
You're pretty good about riding the high side at a lot of different racetracks, but how stressful is that lap after lap running the high groove at Eldora Speedway?
Oh yeah, it's pretty stressful, but man, I really don't know what's more. Is run the bottom, the middle there is pretty tough too, because me and my dad were talking about it, and I was like, well, the wall is kind of like my judgment point on where I need to be specifically, and I'm like pretty comfortable with putting the car an inch from the wall, around the whole track. Like,
right.
I know the shape of the wall there. I've raced there plenty of times where I know where the wall comes in, where it comes out, and where it does little whatever. It's not perfectly straight around the whole track, or it's not perfectly curved. So, yeah, I'm more comfortable around the wall than I am the middle, but it definitely takes a lot of focus. Especially the biggest thing is just, you want to leave your spoiler fully intact, or at least for the most part, until the very end. If you want to knock it off some, you can, but it's going to slow you down
right
down the straightaway. It's going to slow down your downforce isn't going to be good if you knock that off. So that's probably the most nerve-wracking part, is just when you hear your spoiler kind of scrape against the wall, you're just hoping you're not knocking it off.
You're currently tied with Nick Hoffman at 54 points back. Do you feel like that you still have a chance to catch Brandon Sheppard?
So this past weekend, the World of Outlaw races rained out. We had 2 races, and we got 5 races left now after those rainouts. So in 5 races, 3 of them are at Charlotte. 1 is at Boot Hill, which is in Louisiana, which I've won a race there. I've only been there once. And then 1 of them is at Rocket, which is in Texas, and I've never been there before. So
right.
I'm not very good at Charlotte, just because I haven't been there many times. And, you qualify that first day on Wednesday. You qualify for all 3 nights basically right away. So you don't really get a night of full racing to test your car out and try some things, and then go and qualify again the next day. All your qualifying is one day. So you want to be good there right off the bat when you get there at the start of the weekend, because that affects your whole weekend. So
right.
If we can be good, if we can get through these next 2 races, and they're in a couple weeks, if we can get through those, maybe win them or finish top 2 or whatever, which we've normally been doing, but have a pretty good year with that. But I don't know. We needed the races last weekend to help get a little closer. It's tough. Brandon Sheppard is one of the best ones there is, in dirt late model racing, and he knows how to win championships for sure, as he's got 4 of them. And I don't know. It's going to be tough. We're definitely not completely out of it, but we'd almost have to have a little luck on our side.
It's amazing that you are, after the tire gate earlier in the year, that you'd be in this position to do this, and you still got a shot at it.
Yeah, definitely. And really, we'd be in the lead if it wasn't for a couple of things, too. This just hasn't been our year for World of Outlaw points. We've had a heck of a season for wins, and I think right now I'm at like 33 wins on the year. Last year I had 34. This isn't just Outlaws, this is the whole year. But yeah, I expect to break the record from last year, and then I've won more Crown Jewel races this year, so it's been a really good year. But as far as the points go, I broke. I had 2 motor issues, 2 races in a row back during like the summer, and if it wasn't for that, where I was running during those races, I'd be in the lead right now by about 20 points. So, it's one of the biggest things in port racing is you got to be super consistent. And, just winning only gets you so far. If you have a night where you fall out, there goes 50 points sometimes or whatever. So, yeah, it's tough.
Now, you've won 32 races this year. Talk about that in the grand scheme of things. That's a lot of wins.
Yeah, it is a lot of wins. it's pretty crazy to think about, your win percentage and stuff. But I'll be honest, I kind of forget about what happened last weekend. Like, for example, this past weekend, we just got done winning the World 100, and we can't simmer on that too long. We got to get ready for the next race and start thinking about that, because the second you relax, these guys they're gonna get you, and you're gonna qualify third row, or you're gonna finish outside top 10 in the future. It's that hard, so you got to stay focused and determined for the next one. And like last weekend, as I was saying, we just got done winning the world, and we went to Muskingum, and we finished second. And I was like, definitely not happy with the second place finish, because I just want to win every race. So,
right, yeah.
But you can't win them all for sure. But yeah, I get greedy with it. I want to win them all.
Well, Saturday night, Devin Moran happened to start up on the front row, and where were you at? Starting fifth, or where were you?
I started third.
Third.
But yeah, I don't know. We just weren't as good. And Devin, that's actually his home track, and I knew it'd be pretty tough to beat him there. And he ended up winning, and we ran second, but I felt like it wasn't a great second for us. We were kind of a little distant, so yeah.
Well, you don't have to worry about points this weekend. You're going back to Knoxville. You weren't there a year ago, but you're this is a crown jewel you've not won yet. How big would it be to show up at Knoxville and pull off another crown jewel at Knoxville?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I think it'd be our 7th crown jewel of the season. Well, a race 50K plus over, depending on what you consider a crown jewel. And yeah, I've been close to that race. One time I really stepped on it one time when I was I had just took the lead. Forget which year this was. It was like 2018. And I just took the lead, and I jumped the cushion, and I got passed back, and I ended up I can't remember what I finished that race, but I feel like that's one that got away. And yeah, Knoxville is a pretty cool event. Obviously the Knoxville Sprint Car Nationals is like a super huge race. The Knoxville Late Model Nationals isn't quite as big, but it's still a very big race for us. And yeah, I definitely want to win that one. I haven't been there, but maybe a few times. Like, I wasn't there last year, and I watched Ricky Thornton. He won every night, and there was a couple of nights there I was like, man, I know I could have been up there possibly battling for the lead with him. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. We'll see what we got.
There you have it. That's Bobby Pierce. He won his 33rd race last night, didn't he?
Yeah. Now he sits on the pole tonight at Knoxville. Who you betting now on? I would say Bobby Pierce. Well, he's got Jonathan Davenport right beside him, so who knows?
Jonathan Davenport is JD is a pretty good race car driver, but
he doesn't like Knoxville though, does he?
I'm going to take Bobby Pierce to